Strangers grieve when you're not there. Turn the key, the shadows talk back. Midnight rings you if you're dead. One more line, one more flight into the weird unknown. It's out tonight, and the rainbows of
Somewhere in a room crammed with rockets that never launched, clocks that run backward, and typewriters that dream, one man still dares to imagine what tomorrow forgot. You are about to enter the unseen visions of Ray Bradbury. Tonight, another lost wonder awakens. This is SL Tonight, Bradbury's Unseen Visions. Good evening, visitors to the vengeful metropolis, and welcome to SL Tonight, where we enter the mechanical revenge of Ray Bradbury's masterpiece, The Illustrated Man. I'm Felix Lebeski, your host for Bradbury's Unseen Visions. Tonight, we step onto a planet where a city has waited 20,000 years for Earthmen to return, so it could repay Hiroshima with interest. The city is the darkest ink of all. Written in 1950, when Bradbury was 30, living in Venice, typing while Marguerite worked, Hiroshima's shadow still fresh and the Korean War raging. Inspired by H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds inverted and his rage at atomic war, he imagined technology that remembers. Behind the scenes, Doubleday paid him $750 for the book, but Bradbury refused Hollywood cash to keep his visions pure. This story, often overlooked, is Bradbury at his most merciless. The city is not just sentient, it's righteous. It's a window into what drove him. The fear that our sins echo across centuries, a theme that burned through his 1960s support for civil rights, seeing vengeance as the shadow of injustice left unanswered. Let's walk these waiting streets. The city waited 20,000 years. The planet moved through space, and the flowers of the fields grew up and fell away, and still the city waited. And the rivers of the planets rose and waned and turned to dust. Still the city waited. The winds that had been young and wild grew old and serene, and the clouds of the sky that had been ripped and torn were left alone to drift in idle whitenessness. Still, the city waited. The city waited with its windows and its black obsidian walls, and its sky towers and its unpenitent turrets, with its untrod streets and its untouched doorknobs, with not a scrap of paper or a fingerprint upon it. The city waited while the planet arced into space, following its orbit about a blue-white sun, and the seasons passed from ice to fire and back to ice, and then to green fields and yellow summer meadows. It was on a summer afternoon in the middle of the 20,000th year that the city ceased waiting. In the sky, a rocket appeared. The rocket soared over, turned, came back, and landed in a shale meadow 50 yards from the obsidian wall. There were booted footsteps in the thin grass and calling voices from men within the rocket to men without. Ready? Alright, man, careful. Into the city. Jensen, you and Hutchinson patrol ahead. Keep a sharp eye. The city opened secret nostrils in its black walls, and a steady suction vent deep in the body of the city drew storms of air back through channels, through thistle filters and dust collectors, to a fine and trembling delicate series of coils of webs which glowed with silver light. Again and again the immense suctions occurred. Again and again odors from the meadow were borne upon warm winds into the city. Fire odor, the scent of fallen meteor, hot metal. The ship has come from another world. The brass smell, the dusty fire smell of burned powder, sulfur, and rocket brimstone. This information stamped on tapes, which sprocketed into slots, slid down through yellow cogs into further machines. Click-a-chuck, chuck, chuck. A calculator made the sound of a metronome. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 minutes. An instantaneous typewriter inked this message on tape, which slithered and vanished. Clickety-click, clickety-click, clickety-chuck, chuck, chuck. The city awaited the soft tread of their rubberoid boots. The great city nostrils dilated again. The smell of butter in the city air from the stocking men faintly, the aura which wafted to the great nose broke down into memories of milk, cheese, ice cream, butter, the effluvium of a dairy economy. Click, click. Careful, men. Jones, get your guns out. Don't be a fool. The city's dead. Why worry? You can't tell. Now, at the barking talk, the ears awoke. After centuries of listening to winds that blew small and faint, of hearing leaves stripped from trees and grass grow slowly in the time of melting snows, now the ears oiled themselves in a self-lubrication, drew taut, grew drums upon which the heartbeat of the invaders might pummel and thud delicately as the tremor of a gnat's wing. Ears listened, and the nose siphoned up great chambers of odor. The perspiration of frightened men arose. There were islands of sweat under their arms, and sweat in their hands as they held their guns. The nose sifted and worried this air, like a connoisseur busy with an ancient vintage. Chick, chick, chack, click. The information rotated down on the parallel check tapes. Perspiration, chlorides such and such percent, sulfate so-so, urea, nitrogen, ammonia nitrogen, thus quercetin, sugar, lactic acid. There? Bells rang. Small totals jumped up. The nose whispered, expelling the tested air. The great ears listened. I think we should go back to the rocket, Captain. I give the orders, Mr. Smith. Yes, sir. You up there, patrol. See anything? Nothing, sir. Looks like it's been dead a long time. See, Smith? Nothing to fear. I don't like it. I don't know why. You ever feel you've seen a place before? Well, this city's too familiar. Nonsense. This planetary system's billions of miles from Earth. Couldn't have possibly been here ever before. Ours is the only light-year rocket in existence. That's how I feel anyway, sir. I think we should get out. Footsteps faltered. There was only the sound of the intruder's breath on the still air. The ear heard and quickened. The odors glided. Liquids glittered in small creaks through valves and blowers. A formula and a concoction, one followed another. Moments later, responding to the summons of the ear and nose, through giant holes in city walls, a vast vapor blew out over the invaders. Smell that, Smith? Ah, green grass. Ever smell anything better? By God, I just like to stand here and smell it. Invisible chlorophyll blew among the standing men. Ah! The footsteps continued. Nothing wrong with that, eh, Smith? Come on. The ear and nose relaxed a billionth of fraction. The counter-move had succeeded. The pawns were proceeding forward. Now the cloudy eyes of the city moved out of fog and mist. Captain, the windows! What? Those house windows. There! I saw 'em move. I didn't see it. They shifted. They changed color from dark to light. Looked like an ordinary square windows to me. Blurred objects focused. In the mechanical ravines of the city, oiled shafts plunged, balance wheels dipped over into green oil pools. The window frames flexed. The windows gleamed. Below in the street walked two men, a patrol, followed, at safe interval, by seven more. Their uniforms were white, their faces as pink as if they'd been slapped. Their eyes were blue. They walked upright upon hind legs, carrying metal weapons. Their feet were booted. They were males, with eyes, ears, mouths, noses. The windows trembled. The windows thinned. They dilated imperceptibly, like the irises of numberless eyes. I tell you, Captain, it's the windows. Get along. Going back, sir. What? I'm going back to the rocket. Mr. Smith, I'm not falling into any trap. Afraid of an empty city? The others laughed uneasily. Go on, laugh. The street was stone cobbled, each stone 3 inches wide, 6 inches long. With a move unrecognizable as such, the street settled. It weighed the invaders. In the machine cellar, a red wand touched a numeral. 178 pounds, 210, 154, 201, 198. Each man weighed, registered, and the record spooled down into correlative darkness. Now the city was fully awake. Now the vents sucked and blew air, the tobacco odor from the invaders' mouths, the green soap scent from their hands. Even their eyeballs had a delicate odor. The city detected it, and this information formed totals which scurried down to total other totals. The crystal windows glittered, the ear tautened, and the skin, the drum of its hearing, tighter, all the senses of the city swarming like a fall of unseen snow, counting their respiration and the dim, hidden heartbeats of the men, listening, watching, tasting. For the streets were like tongues, and where the men passed, the taste of their heels ebbed down through stone pores to be calculated on litmus. The chemical totality, so subtly collected, was appended to the now increasing sums waiting the final calculation among the whirring wheels and whispering spokes. Footsteps. Running. Come back, Smith! No, blast you! Get it, men! Footsteps rushing. A final test. The city, having listened, watched, tasted, felt, weighed, and balanced, must perform a final task. A trap flung wide in the street. The captain, unseen to the others, running, vanished. Hung by his feet, a razor drawn across his throat, another down his chest, his carcass instantly emptied of its entrails, exposed upon a table under the street, in a hidden cell, the captain died. Great crystal microscopes stared at the red twines of muscle. Bodiless figures probed the still pulsing heart. The flaps of his sliced skin were pinned to the table, while hands sifted parts of his body like quick and curious player of chess, using the red pawns and the red pieces. Above on the street, the men ran. Smith ran. Men shouted. Smith shouted. And below, in this curious room, blood flowed into capsules, was shaken, spun, shoved on smear slides under further microscopes, counts made, temperatures taken, heart cut into 17 sections, liver and kidney expertly halved, brain was drilled and scooped from bone socket, nerves pulled forth like the dead wires of a switchboard, muscles plucked for elasticity, while in the electric subterrane of the city the mind at last totaled out its grandest total, and all the machinery ground to a monstrous and momentary halt. The total. These are men. These are men from a far world, a certain place, and they have certain eyes, certain ears, and they walk upon legs in a specified way, and carry weapons and think and fight, and they have particular hearts, and no such organs are as recorded from long ago. Above, men ran down the street toward the rocket. Smith ran. The total. These are our enemies. These are the ones we have waited for 20,000 years to see again. These are the men upon whom we waited to visit revenge. Everything totals. These are the men of a planet called Earth, who was declared war upon Taloan 20,000 years ago, who kept us in slavery and ruined us and destroyed us with great disease. Then they went off to live in another galaxy to escape that disease, which they visited upon us after ransacking our world. They have forgotten that war and that time, and they have forgotten us, but we have not forgotten them. These are our enemies, this is certain. Our waiting is done. Smith, come back! Quickly, upon the red table, with the spread-eagled captain's body empty, new hands began a fight of motion. Into the wet interior were placed organs of copper, brass, silver, aluminum, rubber, and silk. Spiders spun gold web which was stung into the skin. A heart was attached, and the skull case was fitted. A platinum brain which hummed and fluttered small sparks of blue fire, and the wires led down through the body to the arms and legs. In a moment the body was sewn tight, incisions waxed, healed at neck and throat and about the skull. Perfect, fresh, new. The captain sat up and flexed his arms. Stop! On the street, the captain reappeared, raised his gun, and fired. Smith fell, a bullet in his heart. The other men turned. The captain ran to them. That fool, afraid of a city! They looked at the body of Smith at their feet. They looked at their captain, and their eyes widened and narrowed. Listen to me. I have something important to tell you. Now the city, which had weighed and tasted and smelled them, which had used all its powers save one, prepared to use its final ability, the power of speech. It did not speak with the rage and hostility of its massed walls or towers, nor with the bulk of its cobbled avenues and fortresses of machinery. It spoke with the quiet voice of one man. I am no longer your captain, he said, nor am I a man. The men moved back. I am the city, he said, and smiled. I have waited 200 centuries. I have waited for the sons of the sons of the sons to return. Captain, sir, let me continue. Who built me? The city. The men who died built me. The old race who once lived here. The people whom the earthmen left to die of a terrible disease, a form of leprosy with no cure. And the men of that old race, dreaming of the day when earthmen might return, built this city, and the name of that city was and is Revenge, upon the planet of darkness, near the shore of the sea of centuries, by the mountains of the dead, all very poetic. This city was to be a balancing machine, a litmus, an antenna to test all future space travelers. In 20,000 years, only two other rockets landed here, one from a distant galaxy called Emmett, and the inhabitants of that craft were tested, weighted, found wanting, and let free, unscathed from the city, as were the visitors in the second ship. But today, at the long last, you come. The revenge will be carried out to the last detail. Those men have been dead 200 centuries, but they left the city here to welcome you. Captain, sir, you're not feeling well. Perhaps you'd better come back to the ship, sir. The city trembled. The pavement opened, and the men fell, screaming, falling. They saw bright razors flash to meet them. Time passed. Soon came the call. Smith? Here. Jensen? Here. Jones? Hutchinson? Springer? Here, here, here. They stood by the door of the rocket. We return to Earth immediately. Yes, sir. Incisions on their neck were invisible, as were their hidden brass hearts and silver organs and fine golden wire of their nerves. There was a faint electric hum from their heads. On the double! 9 men hurried the golden bombs of disease culture into the rocket. These are to be dropped on Earth. Right, sir. The rocket valve slammed. The rocket jumped into the sky. As the thunder faded, the city lay upon the summer meadow. Its glass eyes were rolled over. The ear relaxed. The great nostril vents stopped. The streets no longer weighed or balanced, and the hidden machinery paused in its bath of oil. In the sky, the rocket dwindled. Slowly, pleasurably, the city enjoyed the luxury of dying. That was the city, a story that revenges from Ray Bradbury's atomic dread. In 1950, he was 30, living in Venice, typing while Marguerite worked, the Korean War starting as World War II's shadow lingered. It lampoons his career. Pulp invasions turned tragic, his pulp roots maturing into warnings of retribution. Writing this in 1950, he drew from H.G. Wells and carnival freak shows, aiming to show how machines inherit our sins. Behind the scenes, Doubleday paid him $750 for the book, a fortune then, but Bradbury refused Hollywood cash to keep his visions pure. It's a window into what drove him, the fear that our creations remember, and revenge, a theme that burned through his 1960s support for civil rights, seeing vengeance as the shadow of injustice left unanswered. Ray Bradbury, the visionary behind the city, turned runes into retribution. The story asks, what if our sins return as machines? Join us next time for SL Tonight as we keep unearthing literary shadows. Like, subscribe, and good night.
Rockets resting in green afternoon light. Typewriters dreaming all through the night. A smiling sun hangs on a cardboard sky, where the future got lost but never learned to die. Unseen visions burning bright. Bradbury's ghost on SL tonight. Open the page, let the wonder ignite. Welcome to SL. Tonight.